Welcome back here on Prime Morning. It's time for us to get into News Flash and talk about the major issues coming up. We'll be looking at the front pages of the various newspapers as well, and also get to have your say on some of the issues here on the show. So you can just go on social media as Joy Prime TV on Facebook, Instagram, and on Twitter, and you can send your messages there. Our WhatsApp line is also active. You can send your messages there as well. Now, let's say a big thank you to Nutri-Snacks for making it possible. Now, it's what you need. Go and get it. This morning, if you're having a breakfast, you want to join, Nutri-Snacks and enjoy the very best of it. A very hot tea. You have Nutri-Snacks. It's very nutritious and it's delicious as well. And so please do well to grab yours. If you're also going out and, you don't have some in the house, walk into any supermarket and ask them that you want Nutri-Snacks and you will get it. Let's say a big thank you to them for always making it possible for us to have conversations here on the show. Big Chef is coming up. Yes, Big Chef is coming up, and we're getting entries right now. So there's a deadline, by the way, but you don't want to, miss that opportunity. So if you're a young person out there, you're between the ages of 8 to 14, and you've got what it takes to, cook some very delicious food. Your mom has been helping you out, to get some skills and all of that. This is the time for you to showcase it to the rest of the world. And so please do go ahead, submit 2 minutes video of yourself doing something very, very nice in the kitchen, and then you send it to our WhatsApp line. We're going to get it and we'll give you a call, short list, and then eventually we'll get to have the showdown. All right, so do well to also send your entries right now. Step Up is giving people money and also entertaining them at the same time. If you've not seen it yet, Sundays at 7:30, that's where everybody is watching. And so please do well to also watch. Trust me, there's too much entertainment on that show, all right? Some are broken-hearted, some are sharing their girlfriends' quotes and all of that, on the shows and winning money at the same time. So do go ahead and enjoy the very best of Step Up. MakanatMarket.com is where you need to make sure all the things that you need in your home, you do not have to go out for them, all right? So the traffic is sometimes very terrible, and when you're wasting time, you're not making money. And so stay in the house, save some money, save some stress as well, and just order. Go to www.makanatmarket.com, and you can also call us, contacts on your screens right now. So do give us a call, and every details that you need, we're definitely going to give you that, so you can also enjoy the very best in the comfort of your home. Yes, that's what Makanat Market gives you. All right, now we're going to be getting into it. I'll be introducing the guest in the studio with me this morning, but before we get into that, we're going to be looking at the front page of the newspapers and what they are reporting. And we'll begin with the Daily Graphic. And the Daily Graphic this morning has the big story on NPP, and it says NPP inches towards showdown. It has Kennedy Ohene Japan Vice President Dr. Mahmoud Baumia and also Dr. Osu Afriye Akoto. Francis Adenimo is also captured on the front page, and it's a big showdown this Saturday. And I'm still reminding you to tune in to Joy 99.7 FM, Joy News, Joy Prime and its affiliates, the multimedia group in general, will be bringing you an incredible upbeat on what is going to happen on Saturday. So please do well. Don't tune into any other station, because in times like these, you need a channel that you can rely on that is credible enough to give you what you need, and the multimedia group gives you exactly that and even more. And so please do well to stay with us this weekend on Saturday. It's going to be Fanta Brutal. We're prepared. We're ready for you. It's the elections headquarters. It can never be anywhere else, all right? So do well to stay with us. Now, NMC launched broadcast complaints platform. P13 has the story on Daily Graphic, and the 2024 budget, ISA wants prudent spending. Graphic FBN Bank to support businesses on AFCFTA, and that's the front page of the Daily Graphic. Now, Daily Guide this morning is also reporting on some major issues, and it says voter register exhibition November 3. Jim Mensah has been captured over there. The chair for EC is on the front page. And so do well to also go and check. The exhibition will be on 3rd of November. That's tomorrow. All right. Fremont Storm Savannah region with goodies for flood victims. People are still showing love. And yes, we'll continue to tell you to also go out there and show our brothers and sisters in the Volta region love. The dam spillage has still caused a lot of havoc, and we can all be, each other's keeper by supporting these people. All right. So please do well to also send your widow's mite. Now, the big story over here: Kaswa corpse killer jailed 20 years. P3 has got a story, and that promises massive Western North development. And also, Germany pledges support for regional peace. That's the Daily Graphic this morning. Let's go to the Ghanaian Times. The Ghanaian Times this morning says, ensuring sub-regional security will support Ghana to preserve stability, fight terrorism, criminal groups in Western Africa. And that's German Chancellor speaking so on that. Government urged to ensure 2024 budget alleviates suffering of Ghanaians, and government presents relief items to be paid flood victims. EC begins voters register exhibition tomorrow. Page 13 has got a story on that. Scrap dealers vandalize steel ECG switch gears, and that's page 3. That has the story in the Ghanaian Times this morning. The very last one, and then we'll move to our major conversation, is the Business Finder. Now, the Business Finder says target 8 to 10% annual growth and to significantly improve livelihoods. As I said, so SNIT deepens engagement with informal sector workers, and Chief of Staff assures the Savannah flood victims of government support. Page 6 has got a story on that, and that's the Business Finder this morning here on a News Flash. All right, so those are some of the reports that have come through. If you want to share your view on any of them, you can send it to us on our social media handles. It's Joy Prime TV on Facebook, Instagram, and on Twitter. And you can send it to us on our WhatsApp line as well. In the studio with me this morning, as always, to help us with the conversation, I've got over here Swadik Musa. He's a member of the National Communications Team, NDC, and he's a friend and a family here on this very channel. So, Swadik, good to see you again,
MJ, we are doing well. What can I say?
Thank you. You're also doing very well. I hope all is well.
Inshallah.
Manasseh Atapwine is government spokesperson on economy and also finance, and he's here with us this morning representing the NPP. Manasseh,
KMG,
you good?
By God's grace.
Great. I heard you also traveled, but you're also back. I didn't know.
KMG, I've been in country all these years. I've not traveled.
Oh.
Yeah.
Who said that? Was it Roslyn or Isidro who was saying that you traveled?
I've been here.
One of them was saying that you traveled.
Yeah.
You've not gone anywhere?
No.
Okay. Are you ready for showdown, by the way?
I am.
Saturday.
Ghana is so sweet, so there's no point traveling.
Ghana is what? So sweet?
Yeah. Things are much better today than it was last year. And I am very much ready for the showdown. Because I am confident His Excellency the Vice President will win the presidential contest.
Swadik, are you ready for showdown this weekend, or you're not part of showdown?
Well, we are observers.
I know where you belong.
We are worthy observers for that matter. But as it were, we are citizens, and the term showdown doesn't really sit well with people who are sworn Democrats, like members of the NDC. So when you have internal contests and we have main contenders coming to say they are going to show each other showdown and so on, we get, a bit uncomfortable with that. But that is where, what do you expect the elephant to be good at? Distraction. So we wait to see what happens.
Very well. So we're going to get into our very first story for this morning topic, if you like. But the Vice President has been touting his achievement, as we get closer and closer to the elections on Saturday. He's been speaking about some of the things that he has done, and the fact that even as a Vice President, he's been able to do so much. So you can imagine if he has the capacity as a president or a certain president of the nation. And he speaks about some of the things he has done. He mentions the Ghana card. He mentions the Agenda 111, the gold for oil, the one constituency, one ambulance. He's also spoken about a few other things that we want to, as we're interrogate a bit to find out exactly how these things are standing, in the face of the ordinary Ghanaians, and if indeed it's a reason that Ghanaians are supposed to be voting for him. In his own words, he says, that is the nature of my work. But if you ask me, Dr. Bawumia, since you became vice president, what policy have you brought to bear on government, or what we can use to remember you by? And that's what he's actually speaking about. And he says that I am a vice president. I'm not yet a president. By the grace of God, you would make me a president, but I'm a vice president. And you know that the work of the vice president is like that of an assistant headmaster, isn't it? So he went on and started mentioning things that he has done. So he says, I tell you that we brought the Ghana card, no grantor student loan, digital address system, mobile money interoperability, one constituency, one ambulance, Agenda 111 Zongo Development Fund, and the NHIS digitalization. Now, he speaks of some of these things that he's been able to put together. Swadik, are you impressed with all that the vice president has mentioned and, touting his achievement as a vice president?
Well, first of all, good morning to you, my brother, and your cherished viewers. I think that the vice president, anyway, he has absolutely nothing to say at this material moment.
Because he said a lot.
He said nothing.
What do you mean by he said nothing? These are things he has mentioned.
The Ghanaian people gave him a mandate, a specific mandate for that matter. What's that mandate? The mandate is to manage and serve as chairman of the Economic Management Committee. You get it? Beyond that, we expect him to assist the president as and when the need arises. You understand? Yeah. But primarily, it is automatic and convention that as vice president, he manage or he chairs the economic management team. So as chairman of the economic management, you need to be forthcoming with the successes you have chalked as chairman of that committee. You understand? And if you observe all the things that he has mentioned, he has carefully decided to pick and choose digitalization and has avoided discussions surrounding the economy. We were told that he was coming specifically to build a robust economy where the fundamentals would be so strong that a CD to dollar would be 1 CD, $1. That was the understanding of the Ghanaian people, because as at the time that he was chanting and singing and touting his economic prowess, a dollar was 1 CD was equivalent to 3 CDs or 4 CDs, $4. You understand? Today, the dollar cannot be mentioned. Meanwhile, he told us initially when he came to meet strong fundamentals, he said that he was going to move the Ghanaian. He said that he had, arrested the CD and has given the keys to the IGP. You understand? So, haven't ravaged everything, destroyed everything. He's currently unable to speak about the economy. So he's running around picking things that we did not expressly give him mandate to do. Those things have also played an important role in our development. I have not said so. I'm saying that KMG, if your responsibility in these studios is to host this particular show, then you come early in the morning and you are busy fixing the cameras. Auxiliary, if you like. Fantastic. You are fixing the cameras, you are cleaning. Yet your fundamental responsibility or role here is to host the show, yet you are not fulfilling that responsibility. You certainly cannot expect management to think that you are doing what you were employed to do. That is my point. So Dr. Bawumia has appeared as someone who has, failed at what the Ghanaian, he was brought to do specific things. He said that to move the Ghanaian economy forward, we needed to move the economy from taxation to production. So having come in place, the fundamental question is that have you been able to do that? If you tell us that you have brought a platform, for instance, I am supposed to pay NHIS premium and I pay it cash or whatever form, then you have brought a platform to make it easier for me to pay through my mobile phone or whatever digital device that is available to me. what you have done is just to create an avenue for me to pay. But you have not done anything essential, because at the end of the day, I am still paying anyway. So for me, I think that if the vice president would want to mention things that he has done, we would want him to mention things in respect of the specific responsibilities the Ghanaian people gave him. Other than that, if he goes about mentioning one ambulance, one district,
one constituency,
what it means is that you have responsibilities given to ministries. So if you come to say that you have brought ambulances, if you come to say that you have digitalized NHIS, if you come to say that you have brought about the Ghana card, so we ask questions like, what is the communications ministry doing? If you are the person who brought the Ghana card, if you come to say that you brought the ambulances, what is the health ministry doing? Do you understand my point? In the nutshell, what at all has President Akufo-Addo done? If you look at the things that he has mentioned, that Agenda 111, he brought it, everything he brought it. So what at all has President Akufo-Addo brought? So clearly, he is just going to be seen as engaging in his usual rhetoric, nothing of substance, because the government itself is priding itself of bringing about Agenda 111. Now you say it is solely yours. Meanwhile, that very government that has brought the Agenda 111, Ken is part of that government.
But he's part of the government.
Yes.
And then again, he didn't make it look like the government hasn't done anything. He is actually saying things that, as part of government,
yes,
he's been able to do.
I'm saying that now is not the time for him to be telling us that he has brought about Agenda 111, because if it is a government project or a government initiative,
which was part of,
yes,
or maybe he spearheaded.
So if you are contesting against Ken, who is also part of government, if you are contesting against Adainimo, if you are contesting against Agric Minister, who was also sitting in cabinet, you certainly cannot single these projects as your initiative.
But those people were not in the capacity to be directly involved with those projects.
How?
It takes only the vice president or the president, the executive order,
so you tell
to be able to establish some of the things he was mentioning. So if Adainimo and all these people are part of government and they are not making critical decisions like what he has been able to make as part of government, there's a difference is clear. I'm
just saying that the vice president doesn't even chair cabinet unless the president is indisposed. Do you understand? So even at cabinet, decisions are not taken at the behest of the vice president. He only would be able to chair it if the president is not available. You understand? But certain ministries he's also able to make some significant inputs. Right? I understand. I'm saying that certain ministers are given direct responsibilities to execute projects. The vice president is not expressly stated anywhere in the constitution or by convention that he has responsibility, other than the convention that he chairs the committee on economy.
So your major issue is the fact that the main thing he was saying he wants to do, he's not been able to achieve that yet. He's speaking about other things that also are part of development.
In fact, when he was brought as vice president, or when he came to us to be considered as vice president, he held several lectures and touted his ability to turn the economy around. He said that it didn't make sense for us to be borrowing to the point that our debt to GDP would be 57%. That was what he told us. Today, the debt to GDP is beyond 80%. So we want him to tell us why it is so. If you tell us that if the fundamentals are weak, the exchange rate would expose you, and the exchange rate was $4 cedis then. Today, what is the exchange rate? We would expect him to speak to it. So if you are not doing this and you are speaking about other things, we are only would think that you are engaging in red herring. Okay. You have absolutely nothing to show, but you would have to say something. So definitely you have to credit to yourself any and everything that this government has done. But for me, I think that the the elections on Saturday, that will happen on Saturday, has been rigged already. They have rigged the elections in favor of Dr. Bawumia.
Who has done that already?
And it will be surprising on my part
the party has promised a free and fair elections.
Is it about promising?
Well,
when Alan left,
if there's a promise from the party and you don't have evidence of any intentions of rigging the elections,
yes,
you have no reason making that statement.
I'm saying that Alan left and told us that there were widespread of threats. You understand, and intimidation, and any illegal interference. He actually mentioned vote buying.
Yeah.
Any illegal interference in the electoral system constitutes rigging. So if you influence induced electorates, you have rigged the elections. So the elections has already been rigged in favor of Dr. Bawumia. And so for us, if he gets anything below 80%, he has failed. And as usual, we will not be surprised, because if the stage is already set for you, they have rigged, they have intimidated, cowed everybody into silence, yet you are unable to cross 80, then certainly you are not fit for purpose. And that's why some of us are of the view that if you are bringing if you are bringing Bawumia, if you are bringing Ken, or you are bringing whoever, the NDC is set. We have a winning candidate in His Excellency John Dramani Mahama. We are holding an ace card. Whoever you bring, he is overweight. He would carry the day.
Okay.
So we are waiting to see the outcome of the Saturday's elections. But that notwithstanding, we are not perturbed, especially so when Dr. Bawumia has proven, Alhaji Bawumia has proven to be, confused about his religion. So certainly such a man cannot be our ninth man.
How did the confusion of his religion come to? How did that come about?
He doesn't know which religion he actually belongs.
How is that?
You are not aware.
You mentioned that he's an Alhaji. You said an Alhaji.
That doesn't make him a believer of one particular religion. I'm saying that he's confused about his religion. He doesn't know whether he's a Muslim or a Christian. He's certainly confused about that.
Manasseh.
KMJ, a very good morning to you, a very good morning to our cherished viewers and to my brother. KMJ, let me start on the very last note my brother ended. And to say that the vice president is confused about his religion is so unfair, and it is unfortunate, and it is extremely baseless for my brother here to sit here and make such unfounded allegations. In our society today, you would find a lot of people who are half Christians and half Muslims.
Where?
Yes, you would find someone who would come from let's say a Christian background, marrying someone who is a Muslim. You understand? And so sometimes it's up to the person to decide that, let me choose one religion. In spite of the person choosing one religion, let's say Christianity or even Islam, most often than not, you would find the person attending functions of the other religion. And it is very common in our setting here in Ghana. I am a Christian. I have been to the mosque several times. And we have a lot of...
It doesn't make you confused.
Of course, it doesn't make me confused in any way. And so to say that... And don't forget that the vice president has been the chairman of the Boys Brigade at the Methodist Church before. When Dr. Atta Kennedy also was marrying, he was his best man. And so when it comes to religious diversity, he is so strong in that regard. And so you cannot sit here and make unfounded. I don't know why my brother seems to be spewing out a lot of strong, inaccurate words without evidence. And it is unfortunate. He again said that the election on Saturday has been rigged for the vice president. An election that has been rigged, and yet we are going to vote. Who would waste such resources to do that? That is not true. The election is going to be free and fair. We are not like you who will be rigging your internal elections, and because that is what you do, you sit here and you impugn such on other political parties. That is not what's going to happen. The elections will be free and fair. Today we have a lot of people in government who are even close friends to the president and even the vice president who support, Kennedy Japan, who support Honorable Adenimo and the others. And so it cannot be said without any shred of evidence that someone is going to rig the elections. KMJ, the vice president couldn't have made his statements any better by mentioning that with him being the vice president, he has been able to champion a lot of strong initiatives. And don't forget that as a sector minister, you have your operational responsibilities and roles you play every day. When it comes to key government interventions, of course, some ministers are innovative enough to come up with certain new dimensions as it relates to their day-to-day operations. But when you look at the successes this government has chalked as it relates to our digital infrastructure, almost all of them are attributable to the able vice president. And so when he mentions that the national identification system through the Ghana card was something that he championed, and today we are reaping the benefits of it, it is true. Aforetime, as a student in any of the tertiary institution, should you decide to even front for student loan, you would have to provide a guarantor. And don't forget that the guarantor is someone who would have to pay should you default in the payment of the loan after you are done with school. The vice president came in and he realized that if we continue with this trajectory, it wouldn't help the very poor, most of which are unable to identify or even to come forth with guarantors. And so he brought the no guarantor system to ensure that once you have the Ghana card, you do not have to provide any guarantor to enable you access the student's loan. And so when he mentions that he was the one who championed this, it is entirely true. Don't forget the almighty mobile money interoperability, which the erstwhile NDC government sought to do with 1.2 billion US dollars. 1.2 billion US dollars. That's the amount the NDC sought to do with the mobile money interoperability. But we were able to do this with just 4.5 million. And again, I sit back and I reason through, and I just can't think far as to why you find such huge figures. We begin to question the integrity and the reasoning of the NDC as it relates to even the mobile money interoperability. Something you could do with such low volumes of money. You intend to do this with 1.2 billion US dollars, whilst it could be done with just about 4.5 million. Just calculate the difference. And so if the vice president again mentions that he has championed this, then I do not see why we should have qualms about it. Today we have the e-pharmacy, such that should you want to access, medicines, you do not have to roam from one pharmacy to the other. You can just access this on your phone. You just run through the medicine and you'll be able to identify which particular pharmacy has your prescribed medicine. And this is something the vice president again has championed. And so I find it difficult when you find people fighting against these things. And KMJ, for my brother to even say that the vice president is running away from the economy and he's now all about digitalization is funny, and it brings to bear his weak economic reasoning. Today, the way the world is running, the way all economies across the world is running, you should know that the economy is tied to digitalization. And so you cannot make significant strides in your economy if you are not so concerned and particular about improving your digital space as a country. And so it cannot be said that, the vice president is running from the economy. He has championed all the successes we have gained in our economy. When you look at the trajectory of this country, especially from 2017 to 2019, the data is there. It speaks for itself. If not for the external shocks and the speculation that created huge problems for this country, leading to a lot of the credit rating downgrades, which even led to the capital inflow reversals, we wouldn't have gotten to this point where we are going through so many challenges. But it has to be said that when you look at the success story of the vice president and what he has done, just someone who is just vice president, it tells you that if this person is given the mandate and he rises to become the president, what he would do for this country will be highly unprecedented.
So
and
we shouldn't be looking at the fact that economically he couldn't, give us what he said he was going to give us.
It cannot be said that economically he hasn't been able to give us what he said.
That's the argument Swadik is making.
And that argument is flawed. That's why I'm taking you to the fundamentals. When you check our trajectory from 2017 to 2019, we met inflation at 15.4%. For 3 consecutive years, we slowed down inflation to single digit. Don't forget that even in 2020, the cedi was the best performing currency against the US dollar. When we came in, interest rates was on the rise, fast on the rise, around 30-35%. We were able to reduce it to even 20 and even 15%. And I'm explaining that if not for the external shocks, Ghana would have been the best or even the fastest growing economy in the world. And even in 2021 and in 2022, in spite of all these challenges, Ghana again was described as one of the fastest growing economies in the world. When you look at our growth trajectory, in fact, when you look at Q1, first quarter of this year, even the IMF and the World Bank projected Ghana to even grow at 1.5%. When you look at the growth projection for even Africa, it was so low. But in Q1 and even in Q2, we have been able to record growth rate of around 3.2 and 3.3%, which is far above the projection by the IMF. And so it cannot be said that the Vice President has not been able to deliver on what he mentioned. In fact, when you look at our recovery processes, 2021, 2022, and 2023, we have made significant improvements. When you look at our economic condition today, we are not saying what we are experiencing today is the best and it is what it is the ultimate we wish for, of course. But when you look at the turnaround strategy and the way we have been able to experience a drawdown or a reduction, a slowdown, even in our key macroeconomic indicators like inflation, for inflation to rise to 54.1% in December 2022. And just last month, it has been able to slow down to 38.1%. We are not saying it is the best, but when you look at the rate of reduction, it tells you we are doing well. And this is not magic. It is all because of the good policies government is implementing. And so we want to be clear in our minds and we want to have objective conversations without propaganda and to maintain that the Vice President has championed all these wonderful initiatives. And so it cannot be said that he is running away from the economy. He is in charge of the economic management team. And don't forget that the economic management team is an advisory unit to the president. The president is the ultimate decision maker in country. And so as the economic management team head, whatever you decide, once it gets to the president has his own to make some changes in it or even to implement what you've brought forth. That's why it's important for us going forward to ensure that the Vice President, who within his tenure has been able to achieve all these significant strides, would be made the president to ensure he has the full powers within the law to implement more of this. But it should never be said that the Vice President has failed or he is running away from the economy, because if you say that, you expose your weak reasoning and thinking in economics. Digitalization cannot be differentiated from the economy today, because when you look at the way in which things are being done across the world, you realize that digitalization is the order of the day. Don't forget that ECG, just in about 2017, their revenues was around 1.1 million Ghana cedis. When they introduced digitalization to ensure that from the comfort of your home, you can take your phone and purchase prepaid credits. In 2021, their revenues increased from 1.1 million Ghana cedis to 56.7 million Ghana cedis. And so when you tell me that digitalization is not important, so you should focus on the economy, then it creates the impression that you don't even understand what you are saying. Because the two are tied together. And so for you to make significant strides, for you to grow your economy, you would have to ensure that through digitalization, you are able to improve your economy, plug all the loopholes, and ensure your economy is running.
So maybe we'll tie this in. Is the issue of some analytics that have come out, which is also, with regards to the elections on Saturday. So there have been some global info analytics that have come out in terms of who's going to be winning. If possibly we decide that we're going to have elections today for the NPP, who will come up tops. And all the polls that have happened, we've seen Dr. Bawumia leading. And I want us to have a conversation on that. At this point, with all that we've seen in terms of data analysis from polls that have been out already, do you think that as at this moment our best bet or the NPP's best bet is Dr. Bawumia?
Well, I have said it earlier that we do not care, because we are holding an ace card. Whoever they bring, we are ready. But before that, let me make the point that we do not have half Christians and half Muslims. It is not true. And you know that you either be a Christian or a Muslim.
But the example he gave was not an automatic Christian Muslim at the same time. He said that there are people who are Muslims that decide to marry Christians, and they make decisions whether to become this or that.
Wait. At every given point in time, you either a Muslim or a Christian. Whatever happens in between, you must be one at every given point in time. That's the point I'm making. And when I said that Alhaji Bawumia has, made himself a Christian and a Muslim at the same time and quite confused about his religion, I'm not making baseless allegations. As Muslims, we have certain principles. And basically, primarily, Muslims do not believe that Christ would come back and save the world.
The Vice President believes so?
He said so. That he believes, and we all believe. I do not believe, Muslims do not believe. And so when you do that, it gives us the impression that you are confused about your religion. Because you don't know
how does that play any role in managing the economy or managing or becoming a president?
So you don't know.
No, I'm asking that. How does that?
You don't know that being decisive is very important.
Decisive on his own religion.
Of course. Even the questions you are asking us, you are being decisive. Other than that, you would have been flip-flopping. So if he is unable to take basic decisions like religion, certainly he cannot do anything. Certainly he cannot do anything. And when we say you have rigged the elections, it doesn't mean that the elections must happen before we are able to tell whether or not you have rigged it. I have said that if you interfere illegally in electoral process, you have rigged it, awaiting the outcome. So if you have been accused by Alan and Co that you are buying delegates, you are inducing them, it means you are interfering in their right to choose who they want. When the info analytics you have mentioned, when you have research having about 17% abstaining or unable to speak out about their choices, what it means is that they are not sure whether they will be safe if they speak out. And if you don't have the right to choose, or if you are being intimidated, you think that if you talk there will be attacks and so on, it means that the elections cannot be said to be free and fair because people were not given the right to choose freely. Would have been attacked. That's why they chose to abstain from engaging or participating in the research or survey. So I am not saying that you have rigged the elections before because you have conducted the elections already. No, elections can be rigged even before you conduct the elections.
Okay.
So finally, when you say that if we questions Dr. Bawumia's, claims about the economy and what he said he would do for Ghana, then we are engaged or we are espousing our weak reasoning in economics. I think that you really are not solving the problem. The problem we have as Ghanaian people is that we say that debt to GDP today is more than 80%. It was 57% when you took it. We say that the exchange rate is 11 and more when it was 4 when you took it. So if you are not answering these questions and you say we are rather engaged in weak reasoning, I beg to differ, because you see, he mentioned the fact that people can sit in the comfort of their homes and pay electricity bills and so on. All the things that you have mentioned is hovering around money. It's hovering around the individual's ability to expend resources or to expend money. Now, if we are unable to get money, how do you pay? Through interoperability. If you have taxed me so terribly that I cannot transfer money to someone using MTN to Vodafone or MTN to whatever network, and you claim that you have done interoperability, you have done nothing because I cannot transfer because you have taxed me. And that is economics. Basically, that is economics. When you said you were having the capacity to turn things around, our economy was not raised to junk status. At best, we are doing B minus. Today, we are unable to pay our debts. We have defaulted, unprecedented in record time. So when we call out the very person who said he will not lead us into this particular ditch, you cannot think that we are having weak economic progress. And finally, His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, when he was vice president, you know what? We had the longest run of single-digit inflation. 31 months, single-digit inflation. John Dramani Mahama has this to show us his records as, chairman of the economic management team. So if you are chairman, we would want you to also tell us what significant success you have chalked vis-a-vis what you said you would do when you were in opposition. So we are not just speaking, we are making basic demands, basic demands, that if inflation is record high, if food inflation, for instance, is at record high, what it means is that you do not have the capacity to buy even food because prices are skyrocketing. And when that happens, you cannot be touting interoperability.
Okay.
You cannot be touting the fact that people are able to renew their NHIS premium by just pressing their phones. If I don't have money, how do I renew SAVE?
All right.
Now to the info analytics.
Yeah, do like 2 minutes for me, so I'll move on. We have another topic to deal with.
Yes. I saw the survey, just like many people would say, as near accurate, because if you observe the number of people who abstained and the researcher Musa Dankwa has actually indicated that if the people who are unable to participate, who are unable to give out their choice publicly, are going to vote for Ken, and then people who have decided to say that, okay, at this point we are not able to tell whether we would vote for Alan or Ken or which of the candidates, he thinks that these people are likely to be swayed by money and other material, influences. So by and large, Alhaji Bawumia is likely to be doing 65 to 70%. That is still failure, in my opinion.
You're looking at 80.
Yes, I'm not the one looking at 80.
Well, you mentioned that if you don't see him getting 80,
yes,
you'll be disappointed.
Because they themselves, I've heard Samia Awuku mentioned that they, according to their research, they are doing 80%. They anticipate that they will be doing 80%. Fine. And I'm saying that based on what they have set in place and the rigging that has already happened, he is set to get 80%. So if he's unable to get the 80%, it is the usual incompetence that we are talking about. And we say that if he's unable to do 80%, he has proven. At the very least, John Dramani Mahama has never done less than 80. He has never done less than 80. So when you say you are going to provide a candidate who would give John Dramani Mahama, or who will take John Dramani Mahama for his money, I mean, you should give us a candidate who can score, who is a scorer like John Dramani Mahama. And so we expect him to do something like maybe 80. At the very least, we will pardon him if he does 79. But beyond or anything below that, we would think that he's failed and that the MPP would have regretted for setting the stage and doing all the rigging they have done for him, and yet still he's unable to make it.
All right, Manas, I'm going to come to you on a wrap for that conversation as well. We'll be looking at the NMC's clamping down money doublers, ritualists, and charlatans on our television stations. It started somewhere in Abuakwa. We had an incident like that. A fake pastor, has been arrested. But let's get your thoughts on the issues that we've spoken about so far. Some comments coming through, and this one says, good morning to you. If the government is experiencing difficulties to bring down or reduce the price of commodities, then I think the government should start creating markets within all the district assemblies in the country. With that, the government can now set affordable pricing mechanism for citizens that would shop at the various market centers. This can control inflation and can stabilize the currency. Love, respect, Aaron Babako, Komko, Misa in Latubia question something that one. Another one over here says, if EC like they can go ahead and create every village be a constituency, still MPP will lose 2024 elections from Abladi, Efiekuma, Zongo, Takrade. Efiekuma, okay. Hey, so with these hardships in the country, people still have hope in NPP. I wonder, self, we shouldn't fall for the lies of NPP again, or are you Abladi, same Abladi from Efiekuma and Zongo, Zongo in Takrade, something that. This one says, good morning to you all. Mr. Host, can we allow the NDC man to expose the incompetent Bawumia? You are interjecting him too much. Bawumia is not our choice. No campaign for NPP. When was the last time you heard Bawumia speaking or talking about the economy? Bawumia is an economy disaster. I'm sorry for interjecting. Alaji Hamster Pig Farm says, good morning, my brother. For the sake, Dr. Bawumia should be insulting the intelligence of Ghanaians and wake up to the reality. So you want him to stop insulting the intelligence of Ghanaians and wake up to reality. Today, Dr. Bawumia is telling us that he was not in charge. Simple, he was only a vice president, assistant headmaster, he says. My brother, were you not in this country when Dr. Bawumia prepared 77 questions for the late Mr. Arthur to answer when he knew the late Mr. Arthur was only assistant headmaster? He should give us a break. Hardships has moved from bad to worse under his leadership. My brother, Dr. Bawumia, could not buy a generator for Tamale Teaching Hospital, but Ken has done so. Can you imagine? Anyway, another one over here says, good morning. You are doing great. NDC, they are not serious. He sat down and they're saying what he wants. He thinks that will change the mind of the Ghanaian. They never come to power because they will never come to power because we know what he can do. He'd been in power before, and we have nothing to give to Ghanaians. He has nothing to give to Ghanaians, he said. He, the same person, insulted Ghanaians, and that we have short memories, cancelled teachers' allowance, nurses' allowance, and NHIS. What is he coming to do again? Okay. We have more. In proper democracies, people do the honorable thing by resigning or, in extreme cases, commit suicide when a statement they made turn out to be false. Dr. Bawumia has lied to Ghanaians and has no shame. Unbelievable. This cannot happen anywhere. One district, no warehouse. One village, dry dams. Free, expensive SHS. One district, no factory. One district, $1 million for a toilet facility. This man has no shame. Patrick in Accra sent in that one. Another one over here says, Assalamu alaikum, brothers. Malaikum salam. I want to ask the NPP man which government started a mobile money transaction. He should go back and check the date and the year mobile money transaction started. NPP should give us a break. The vice president promised to build senior high schools in Zongos. Where are the school in Zongos? The vice president is a loser in Zongos in advance. Achiasi constituency needs Samuel Owusu Brako and JDM for 2024, inshallah. Mohammed Zinel Abidin Zongo, of course, Achiasi constituency sent in that one. All right, so that'll be our last comment for now. You can also send yours to us, and we'll be more than glad to read from you. I'm going to get to Manasseh, and then we'll wrap up quickly for the next conversation on the NMC.
Yes, KMJ, with the last message, I mean, mobile money transactions has been with Ghana for quite a period now. I mentioned mobile money interoperability. Which simply means your ability to transfer money from your bank account to your mobile money wallet, or from mobile money wallet to bank account. And it was that the NDC sought to do with $1.2 billion US. They couldn't. We came in and were able to do this with just $4.5 million. KMJ, on the global info analytics, and just a few seconds before that, my brother subtly has been mentioning rigging elections for Dr. Bawumia and those things. Please, these are untrue. Don't be making unfounded, unguided allegations that you don't have evidence to substantiate your facts. So let's yes. He's been saying that rigging. Who? So if you know the person who is in charge of this rigging, report the person. Let's take the matter.
So based on statements that have been made by certain candidates,
these are statements that are not substantiated. They have no scintilla of evidence. Look at someone saying that, I mean, he was alleged to have been approached through a friend to be given $800 million, and so the whole country. Look at the conversation we are having with what's the name, official creditor committee, just to ensure we have $600 million released, to ensure we're able to keep up with our balance of payment. And someone is mentioning $800 million. Mention the people. Mention the very person who called you. Then it's nothing. I can also sit here, or any of Dr. Baumi's team member can also mention that, Ken also approach someone from Ken's team, also approached Doc, mentioning that he will provide $5 billion, US for him to step down. We have to deal with evidence and facts. Otherwise, we will be building a society where I can just make baseless allegations and we'll be running to town with them. That's why I've always maintained that when it comes to these conversations, if you do not have any evidence, they are mere useless, baseless things that everybody can even say. And so without facts, we shouldn't be making these statements. And I was surprised to hear my brother mention that with the Global Info Analytics, with their survey, you find a lot of people laying back. And he mentioned that because they don't want to be attacked. I have no idea. This is my first time knowing that when a survey is being conducted, perhaps there's a camera set on you, and perhaps you are given a code, a unique code, such that when they publish their findings, your name will be attached to it. KMJ decided that this person will be should lead the party. I am so scandalized. It is not the case. When surveys are being done, most often, in all cases, they keep the questionnaires, those who answer the questionnaires, quite confidential. And so why are you saying that some people decided not to answer these questions because they're afraid they'll be attacked and those things? That is untrue. And so we shouldn't be making that. When you go back to the survey that has been conducted with the vice president leading, it is not surprising. It is not surprising, and I am confident, given what is happening on the grounds and given the quest of the NPP to break the 8. It's important for us to present a unifier. Someone who is strong enough, someone who sends shivers across the spine of the NDC, someone who gives the NDC sleepless nights, someone who is always ensuring that he is building people together to ensure there are no divisions in the party. That is the person we are seeking to put forth. Our aim is to ensure we break the 8. And we are confident that with His Excellency, the Vice President, Alhaji Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, we will be able to reach this.
All right, very well. So our next conversation will be the issue of the NMC clamping down on money doublers, ritualists, and charlatans on our airwaves. So there has been some very major conversations around this very issue, and even the former president before spoke about it. You remember very well in 2021 when we had the issue of the Kaswa kits and the ritual, things that we're doing over there. Some serious conversations came up in terms of why we are even having kids engaged in such activities, and the former president spoke about it and mentioned that it's the media. In fact, he emphatically blamed the media for giving opportunities to people like ritualists, money doublers, to invade on television screens, and it's the reason we're experiencing what we're experiencing. I had an interview with him. We'll take a look at the interview, and then when we come back, we'll have the conversation around it.
Backwardness, How could young people, what do they know? And unfortunately, you media people too, you are giving so much exposure to tricksters and fraudulent people, promising everything. When you look at them, you should know that these are people who really, who are themselves just bad and ignorant. And that's not the way for our society to go. So I think media, the editorship of your institutions should rise to the occasion and cut out anything that would defraud society and also make asses of the community. We need to do that. Media and of course the authorities too, if you like, social and community leadership should come up and tackle all these people who are now virtually hijacking the airwaves with vain promises and trickery. We must they should be earlier eradicated than even some of the diseases we're talking about.
All right, so that was the former president speaking, and this interview was in 2021. Now, in efforts to ensure that some of these things are handled, the NMC and the NCA have teamed up to ensure that they clamp down money doublers, ritualists on our television screens. Now, there's a toll-free number that I'll be announcing. Now, what happens is this: on the 31st of October 2023, they launched the official equipment and all that they'll be using in clamping down these people. So whenever you see any of such happening on any television station, all you need to do is to call the toll-free number, and they'll be there to ensure that whoever that is doing it, is handled the very best way they can. All right. So for me, it's a good thing. I don't know about Swadik. This is something that we've fought for over the period, that we've seen people, kill people follow money doublers, they commit suicide because the people have lied to them and all of that. What do you make of this?
Well, before that, I think that it is surprising that an ardent supporter of Dr. Bawumia is complaining about vile allegations, propaganda, and
lies. So let's not go there.
I just want to make the point that in 2016 May, it's very important for me to make.
Yes, but we've already wrapped up. We have two other major issues to talk about.
Yes, it's very important. It's very important. Dr. Bawumia, I understand.
Yes, we need to
understand.
Move.
Yes, I'm moving on. Dr. Bawumia surprisingly in 2016 made a vile allegation that a whopping $250 million were diverted from the Eurobond that they issued in 2015 into a private account in a privite bank, which turned out to be totally false.
Let's deal with it.
Today they are surprised that people are lying.
Let's deal with it. This is equally important.
Yes. The NMC
and the NCA.
The NCA. I think that this is a good exercise. The clamp down is a good exercise. We should all, call on them to actually get this materialized, because, as it were, people, not just ritualists, Ponzi schemes and many other people who think that they can get people to, subscribe onto their schemes so they can defraud them, have become rampant in our society today. And you see, the media is failing to see the fact that they are agents of socialization. When we were taught that peers, society, our families, and so on were agents of socialization, I think that we were not actually taught that media, as it were today, is very important in socializing a child. So when a child sits by a television and sees anything on that television, the child thinks that that is it, that is the truth. And so recently in Kaswa, you saw two teenagers allegedly killing a 10-year-old Ishmael because some ritualists had said they should bring him human parts. And these teenagers could do that. So it tells you how our society has decayed in respect of these particular menace. But I am quite skeptical, because when that issue happened, the NMC and the NCA actually said they were going to engage in this exercise, but it has since not been materialized. So if at this point nothing so serious is triggering this, I am going to be skeptical, because if in the case of Kaswa, everybody was talking about it, and then the government, the NCA and NMC said they were going to do this, yet they actually reneged. Yet at this point, nothing so serious has triggered it, even though reports might not have come into the media. Many people are leaving testimonies of how ritualists, how con men and spiritualists and so on are taking a toll on their lives. But we as a people must first of all think of dealing with this menace completely. If we get NMC and NCA to, prevent the media houses from doing or from giving airspaces to these people, would that solve the problem permanently? We should ask that question. Because largely, those who are engaged in these acts are those in the youth brackets. And you cannot take away the fact that unemployment plays a significant role. Because those who are being duped, those who are engaging the rituals are people who are unemployed. The ritualists themselves, in many circumstances, are unemployed. So as a country, if you have this high rate of unemployment and you want to tackle these menace or societal menace, we should tackle it from the root cause, and that is unemployment. So that government can look at ways to reduce the unemployment rate in the country. Today, government says they are bringing about an advanced planting for food and job program. I am telling you, if this program was any innovation of any government, I would have been very optimistic about it, because agriculture is a lifesaver. All the developed countries, that is what has led them to their developed status. And so if government is engaging in planting for food and jobs, or agricultural services or practices for that matter, we can only look at how we can help the government, if the government is willing, by trying to point to the government that, look, the people who you want to say you are employing into agriculture, the people who are unemployed are not just interested in the stipends that you give them. They are interested in life-changing programs. So government should desist from saying that we are going to give these people some sort of allowances and stipends. No. Any program, in my opinion, that has a component of stipends stifles thinking. It breeds, in my opinion, laziness. So if you bring programs and projects that will intervene seriously in the lives of people, the people who you have saved will not be interested. Because if you are getting so much returns, you will not be so much
thinking about engaging in any of these things.
You understand? And you will not even care about any allowances that the government will give you, because you know that at the end of the day, this is what you are likely to get out of the program. So the government of Ghana, I'm discussing this issue dispassionately.
Yeah.
I don't want, because if we are going
but we're pressed for time, so make it quick.
Yes, I'm discussing this issue dispassionately. I don't want to engage in too much politics regarding this particular matter, because many people have lost lives, properties. You find not just the ritualists. Take NAM1, for instance. We discussed it here the other time. Many schemes are getting airspaces. I don't know whether the media do try to find out. If I come to advertise my business, do you care to know whether it is a legitimate business? Do you do that? I don't know whether you do that. But I think that is important.
Yeah, multimedia is done. I mean, in some cases, trying to track some of these things is a bit difficult, and it's the reason why the new thing they are bringing up right now has a broadcasting monitoring center. And what it means is that there's a room where they are monitoring all the radio and all the TV stations. And so if you make a call, for example, if you call 0800-419-666, automatically, whatever you report, the channel is in their system. So they have a mechanism that they can shut that station down at that particular moment when that thing is happening, which is a good thing.
Yes. So I don't want to dwell so much on government. Because if we put all the responsibility in government, I doubt this will materialize. Because they have demonstrated inability because I said in the case of Kaswa, you said
Swadik will never say
Swadik has been quite objective on this topic, but in concluding, he's trying to go back to his matrix.
Swadik, so we have 5 minutes to end this conversation today. So let's move on to Manasseh. Manasseh,
right. KMJ,
you have 4 minutes, unfortunately for me.
Okay, so it is quite refreshing for us to have come thus far. To be able to ensure that there is a collaboration between the National Communications Authority and the National Media Commission. Yeah. And aforetime, there were some constraints on the NMC because they didn't have any broadcasting monitoring center. And so it is very commendable for this high-level collaboration to be made effective as the NCA has demonstrated. And so, as you rightly mentioned, the NCA is collaborating with the NMC.
Yeah.
And they have made available their broadcasting monitoring center, which is a very big room with a very large screen. And on the screen, they are able to monitor 168 television stations.
Which is commendable.
Very highly commendable. Yeah. And 50 radio stations as well. So what they've done is that they have allowed the NMC workers, most of which are national service personnel, to work there so that once you find anything that is quite egregious, you can just phone in and report. And a call center has been set up with a toll-free number 0800 419 666. 0800 419 666. So immediately you phone in and you report these egregious content, ritualists, promoting human murder and all of that, or even money doublers, those showing adult content at inappropriate hours, and even these incidences of fake pastors, abusing money from people and all of that. When you make these complaints, the personnel would record your complaints and we will make sure we are able to track the complaints you have made, play back and ensure that what you are saying is true. Then there is a committee that will sit on your complaint, and within 30 days, they would make a determination on the complaints you have filed. So this is a very significant improvement in ensuring that we are able to manage the limited national resources to ensure that we are able to monitor and even sanitize our airwaves. And it is quite disheartening. Today you turn on your TV and you would find people, ritualists, claiming that just bring human parts and let's create financial blessings for you. People saying that send 100 cedis and we'll give you 500 or 1,000 cedis. People will send their money and they will not receive it. And so these complaints are far too many, and we are confident that with this that we have implemented, we will be able to track and ensure. You see, we want to avoid the incidence of complaints where when a station is being shut down for these inappropriate content, you would find them making noise that government is targeting them for nothing. That is why it's important for this broadcasting monitoring center to be able to provide evidence should there be any reports of people showing things like this, ritualists, promoting ritual murder, money doubling and all of that. And so once we are able to have these evidences, you'll be served with a warning, the appropriate guidelines will be followed through to ensure that if you continue to do these things, then the appropriate sanctions will be applied to you. It is not stipulated in any of the regulations or guidelines that if you open a TV station, use it to dupe people. It is not stipulated that when you open a TV station, use it to promote ritual murder. And so if you have a TV station and you allow these people, these con men, airtime, then you are putting your own station at risk. And should it be the case that after you've been warned severally, you still continue to allow these things and you are being removed off the airwaves, there shouldn't be any complaints at all. And when you complain, we provide the evidence to the Ghanaian people to show that we are not targeting you. We do not seek to gag the media. We do not seek to kick anybody out of business. But governments cannot sit there to watch you dupe Ghanaians.
Awesome. So we're wrapping up for our conversation this morning. We're done, but let me pass on a few information. So greetings going out to you, my brother Godwin Mahama of the NDC. Fortunately, you lost your mom. We're sorry about that. The funeral is happening this weekend on Saturday, and so please let's do well and go and support our brother. Mrs. Ajwa Mahama is the one we're talking about now. The funeral rites and filing pass will be at the Apostolic Church Ghana, Akosombo Central District Assembly. Final funeral rites and burial service will also be on Sunday, the 5th of November 2023, 9 a.m. at Garu, Wikingo in the Upper East. The Thanksgiving service will be on Sunday on the 12th of November 2023, 9 a.m. at the Apostolic Church, Ghana, Akosombo Central District Assembly. So please do well and let's support our brother Godwin Mahama. The mother, Mrs. Adwa Mahama, has passed on, and the burial service will be this weekend. So let's do well and support. Another information I want to pass on is something for you. If you're looking for a job, this is an opportunity for you. Simply Green is hiring, and they're looking for a professional chef. They're also looking for caterers and cooks as well. Senior high school leavers looking to also do internship have also the opportunity to go there, and all must also be living in and around Awoshi. You can give them a call on 024541189 and you can get yourself a job. Simply Green is hiring, and so please do well. Give them a call. You never can tell. You may just have a job from there. All right, good stuff. Gentlemen, let me say a big thank you to you this morning for coming through. But the number for the NCA and the NMC is 0800 419 666. The choice of the numbers, though.
Yeah.
Okay.
Very interesting.
Yeah, very interesting. 419 and 666, but that's what it is. Anyway, gentlemen, many thanks for coming through this morning. I really appreciate your presence here. Manasseh Atabwaine is government spokesperson on economy and finance from the NPP, who is very ready for the showdown this weekend. And Swadik Musa is also a member of the national communications team of the NDC. He is a bit, satisfied with whatever comes up, on Saturday, as long as JDM is ready to beat any other person that will be leading the NPP. He's
jittery. That's
That what?
Vice President Baumia will win. He knows he'll win, and he's very jittery.
Oh,
They cannot stand him.